What we do here is go back.
What up, world? Study the Bible, not the sermon. Things that make you go, I've been hearing a lot of talk, a lot of rhetoric in the streets and online about the tragedies that's been happening lately out in Sterling, Philando Castile, and Mike Brown and Trayvon Martin, all them kind of people, and who get murdered by other people, and nobody cares, nothing happens. And you know, I felt that eventually it would be time for me to address that, and I decided to. So strangers in the world, strangers in America, that's what we are. And I don't think people really understand that. Black people, I'm talking about, of course. I don't think that we're honest with the fact that we're strangers in America, right? And why were you brought to America? You were brought here to be servants, to serve, right? But even before I want to go that, let's talk about how we got to America in the first place, right? And to deal with that, we want to run to the Bible, Exodus chapter 19. We want to get straight into this, not a moment to lose. Exodus 19, let's kick this off at verse 4. My illustrious reader, when you get that, read that, my brother.
Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians,
okay,
and how I bare you on eagle's wings,
he did
and
that.
brought you unto myself.
True.
Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall...
Hold on. So now he's saying that if you do what I say, I'm going to put you on top of everything. And the Bible says that a lot, because the Lord said that to Israel a lot, right? So if you do what I say, then I'm going to put you on top. It says you're going to be my peculiar treasure above all people, for all the earth is mine, right? What else he going to do? Come on with it, bro.
Ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
Hold on. So you're going to be, if you do what I say, I'm going to put you on top. Then you're going to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. Now, understand, a priest is somebody that administers the law, who teaches the law. The whole nation is going to be priests. Who they going to be teaching? The other nations, of course, right? Then it says a kingdom, a nation of kingdom and priests. Unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. So the whole kingdom are priests. That's how it's supposed to be. If we to deal, we're supposed to deal, right? So this is the agreement that's being made with Israel. You go read Exodus 19:20 on your own. As soon as you come out of Egypt, this is the agreement that's being made, and they breached it. Right after that, they made a golden calf. All right, flip over to Deuteronomy chapter 28, of course. Deuteronomy 28, and we want to see something else here. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 1. Let's check it out. When you get that, bruh, come on and read that, bruh.
Deuteronomy 28.
Yes, sir.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day.
Yes, sir.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
And what else?
And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So again, we hear, if you do what I say, I'm gonna put you on top of everybody. It's the second time he done said it, right? Do what I say, put you on top of everybody. But this time he went a little bit further, because the last time he said it, they went against him. So this time he gonna explain to you what's gonna happen if you go against him, right? We're gonna skip down to verse 15. Skip down to verse 15, and we're gonna see the other side of this coin, because this is the most relevant side of the coin. Come on with it, bro.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
what's going to happen?
Observe to do all his commandments and his statutes,
what's going to happen?
I command thee this day. But all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Okay.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
So now he's going to run down a whole bunch of curses to us, right? Now let's skip right on down to verse 43 and check out some of the more pertinent curses. All right, verse 43. Come on with it.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Now
understand this right here. When Israel came out of Egypt, it was a mixed multitude, the Bible says. So when he says the stranger, he's talking about whatever stranger you find yourself surrounded by. And to this day, the children of Israel, whatever stranger that we find ourselves surrounded by, they get up very high and we go down very low. Check out that movie, The Gangs in New York. They say the same thing about the immigrants coming from Ireland that they say about the immigrants coming from Mexico. In that movie, they quote the popular sentiment, which was, Irish people come to this country and they'll do work for $1 that a black man would do for $5 and a white man would do for $10. Right? So I'm just saying stranger, because you wouldn't even think about that way about Irish person. Now they're just regular white folks. But there was a time when they were lower than us. Right? Nah, strangers. All right. Where we at? Yeah, come on, finish that.
He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Okay.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
That's the truth, right? You got a couple black banks, none of them really lending to other nations, right? You don't see a lot of Chinese people running up in the black bank trying to get loans. A lot of white people from outside of the neighborhood, the outskirts of the neighborhood, trying to come get loans, right? Come on with it, bro.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign, and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
So, he say these curses are going to be upon you for a sign, right? So, when you see you riding down the highway on a road trip and you see a yellow M in the sky, that tells you that at the bottom of that yellow M, somewhere in the vicinity of that yellow M, it's a McDonald's. You can go get French fries and grape soda, right? A sign identifies. So, when you see the people that these things are talking about, you found Israel, right? This is us. This is how we got here, because we did these things, right? On us for a sign and a wonder. So other people see us and they wonder, how can these people live like this? How do they survive? Oh my God, it's a jungle. Oh my goodness. Right? Come on with it, bro.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee.
What else?
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Now, real quick, just for the record, food for thought. A nation from the other end of the earth. I mean, Israel is in the Middle East. Can't get much further into the earth than America. Swift as the eagle flieth, just like the eagle on your dollar bill, I think. True enough, Rome had an eagle, but they wasn't on the other end of the earth. Come on with it, bro.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance.
What else?
Which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
Alright, that's cool. That's enough. So now, we want to talk about strangers, okay? Because that's the topic. So what I did first was I went to Google And I decided to use the Google one because it said pretty much the same thing as Siri when I asked her on my phone. And stranger, the word stranger is a noun. One definition is a person whom does not know or with whom one is familiar. Like when you don't talk to strangers, you tell them, right? That's that kind of stranger. Then definition 2, a person who does not know or is not known in a particular place or community, right? So a visitor or an outsider, that kind of stranger. Then you have a person entirely unaccustomed to a feeling, experience, or a situation. All right, a feeling or experience or a situation. I implore you to think about African Americans and decide for yourself whether or not we are strangers according to that definition. Right? Let's see. Then I went to Merriam-Webster dictionary, and let's see. Merriam-Webster said, someone who has not experienced something. Right? Someone who has not experienced something is a stranger. Right? And I would argue the point that African Americans haven't experienced very much in this country. Like what, you ask? Like wealth. Like payment for labor that lasted at least 100 years from 1776 to 1867. Right? And on and on. Right? August 8th, 2016, an article was published in the Nation newspaper and inequality.org, and it said that I'll put it in the description, the link. It says that the average black family is going to take 228 years for them to accumulate enough wealth to be equal to the average white family today. All right, 220 years, you'll be even with what white families are doing today. But obviously, in 228 years, they'll be way down there. So, nothing. You know what I'm saying? You're a stranger. That's why you don't have wealth opportunities. That's why black people hear that don't even know what to do about it. Right? What else? Strangers brought to a strange land to work. Remember, I was talking about that, right? You were not brought here to profit off of America. You were brought here to be profited off of, right? Or to be profited from, right? That's why first you were the capital, then you became, now you're the labor, right? One way or another, we're gonna come up, right? On that note, let's flip over to 2 Kings chapter 17, because we want to deal with the stranger thing in conjunction with the Bible. All right, so 2 Kings chapter 17, and we want to pick this up at verse 18. But to give you a little background, we got a wicked king, and the Lord has had enough of wicked kings. We at the end of 2 Kings, so that means the end of the kings of Israel. And at this point, the Lord's about to do something. And it's food for thought for us nowadays. So 2 Kings chapter 17, and pick it up at verse 18, bro. Come on.
Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight.
Okay.
There was none left but the tribe of Judah only.
So he's now removing the 10 tribes of Israel was in the north, and 2 tribes plus the priests were in the south. And now he's saying he's going to remove Israel, and we just read why. Because they were supposed to be a nation of priests, but they wasn't. And we're going to find out what they was right now. Come on with it, bro. Come on.
Also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made.
Turn down. You see, Israel didn't do it. Then Judah, her sister, did the same dummy. Come on with it, bro.
And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight.
That's the truth.
For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Lord, and made them sin a great sin.
And what else?
For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam which he did, they departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets.
And what else?
So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day.
Unto this day, Israel is carried into the land of Assyria. Alright, now the reason why we here is because not only did he remove them out the land, he did another interesting thing. And let's check that out right now. Come on with it, bro.
And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cathar, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel.
Is that right?
And they possessed Samaria, and dwelt in the cities thereof.
So, who was the king? The king of Assyria. He took the children of Israel out, and when he took them out, he removed them far from their borders, and then brought other people from a bunch of other lands, sat them in the land of Israel, right? And left them there. Not left them, but, you know, planted them there, right? The same thing the British Empire used to do, same thing that the Roman Empire used to do. Similar to what the United States has done, right? But yeah, that's another story. I'll get into that later. But eerily similar to this project called America, right? Strange is set up, as we saw in 2 Kings 17. And in that type of situation, when you're dealing with spiritual people like the Israelites were, or even if they weren't, you set up strangers, and how many generations does it take for the people to forget that they're strangers in this land? Right? I would argue that you would forget you're a stranger until a real citizen come and check you. Just like in the United States. The one guy who was licensed to carry thought he was going to get treated like a citizen until a real citizen had to check him. Right? So now, let's fast forward several generations and catch us an example of this. Let's keep flipping over to John chapter 4. And this is when Jesus was dipping off on the Pharisees. They was always hating. And this time he dipped off. He was trying to get to Galilee. And he ended up having to go through Samaria. All right. Now, we just read who lives in Samaria. Right? Now, several generations later, let's check out the exchange. What I say, John 4, and let's do it at verse 5. Come on with it, bro.
Then cometh he to a city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph.
All right.
Now Jacob's well was there. Jesus, therefore, being wearied with his journey, sat thus on the well, and it was about the 6th hour.
Okay.
There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water.
Okay.
Jesus saith unto her, Give me to drink.
Turn up.
For his disciples were gone away into the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him,
What she said?
How is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans.
So, right there, the woman just told on herself. How are you, a Jew, going to ask drink of me, Samaritan? The Jews don't have any dealings with the Samaritans. See, because remember, it was a break, the north and the south. But they still intermingle, but once the north was taken out, the people who were replaced there, they were not considered the people. Right? And you can read in other scriptures that after he took the people out the land, the Lord sent lions into the land, and the people went back and told the king of Assyria, we don't know the ways of this God. And so the king of Assyria sent some of the Levites back to teach the people how to fear the Lord. And the Bible says they feared the Lord, but they worshiped their own gods too. Right? So that's how you get to this point where this woman is like, well, you know, I'm a Jew, but I mean, not a Jew, but I'm Israel. But I know the Jews don't have dealings with the Samaritans in Israel. Right? She thinks she's Israel. Come on with it, bro.
Jesus answered and said unto her,
What'd he say?
If thou knewest the gift of God, And who it is that saith to thee, give me to drink?
What'd he say?
Thou wouldst have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water?
Okay.
Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle?
See, again, the woman thinks she's an Israelite, talking about our father Jacob, right? But her ancestors didn't live there. Her ancestors from one of those other cities that we just read about, right? What verse was that? Verse 12? Yeah, all right, skip on down to verse 19 and pick it up. Yeah, verse 19. Come on with it, bro.
The woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet.
I do too.
Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship.
There she go again, talking about our fathers, right? Not our fathers. And Jesus is going to get around to it. Come on with it, bro.
Jesus said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh, when ye shall neither in this mountain, nor yet at Jerusalem, worship the Father.
Why?
Ye worship ye know not what.
Say what?
We know what we worship. For salvation is of the Jews.
Salvation is of the Jews. Jesus checked her in 17 words or less. Right? Woman, you don't even know what you're worshiping. That's because she's not Israel. She's a Samaritan. Alright, salvation is of the Jews. Right? So I know what it is. Just like that lady, we forgot we were strangers. Right? We are strangers. We just think that the founding fathers were our fathers. Just like that lady. They weren't. That's why your personhood and your citizenhood, your citizenship had to be written in the law. That's the reason. Right? They had to pass laws to give you your rights, is what I mean. And as soon as you got a black president, they did everything they did to snatch away every law that they gave you. Right? 50th anniversary to the Voting Rights Act, and it's getting struck down and snatched away and decimated. Right? Your rights had to be written in the Constitution. The rights your fathers fought and died for are now being passed on to everybody else. A corporation can be diverse by hiring a white woman, immigrant, gay or transgender, or even a black person from Nigeria with a wealthy family. Right? Your fathers fought and died for the things that benefit everybody. Matter of fact, let's go read that one more time before it's too late. Deuteronomy 28. Yeah, read that one more time. Deuteronomy 28:43, bro. When you get it, come on with it.
The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
Yes, sir.
And thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Yes, sir.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Absolutely.
Moreover,
okay, that's cool. That's cool. So, black colleges, mostly white. That's what diversity do for you. You understand me? Still, even better than that, the majority of black neighborhoods in the state of Wisconsin are prisons. 56 black neighborhoods, 31 of them are prisons. Right? 31 out of 56 is 55%. 55%. Right? First black president, and unemployment is 50% for working age black males. Right? Never heard him say that. Probably never will. Definitely in the state of Wisconsin, I'll be willing to bet you your last nickel that it's the same demo in Chicago, LA, Brooklyn, St. Louis. Right? And I'll be sure to put links for all of my claims in the description. Right? So let's flip over now to Leviticus chapter 22, because this is something else we want to take a look at. Leviticus 22, because we want to talk about or see about strangers and how the Lord makes a difference between strangers and the children of Israel. The ones, because remember again, there were strangers, there were a mixed multitude that came out with them in Egypt. Alright, so there should be Leviticus 22 and 23. When you get it, bruh, come on, read it, bruh.
Either a bullock or a lamb that hath anything superfluous or lacking in his parts, that mayest thou offer for a freewill offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted. So we talking about the offering now. The Lord is saying if you have something that animal that's superfluous, and that means you got an extra toe or only 3 legs or something like that, say if you want to give it away as a free will offering, you can do that, but you can't give it up as a vow because it won't be accepted. Right? So we talking about offerings and vows. Come on with it, bro.
You shall not offer unto the Lord that which is bruised or crushed or broken or cut.
Okay.
Neither shall ye make any offering thereof in your land.
Turn up.
Neither from a stranger's hand shall ye offer the bread of your God of any of these, because their corruption is in them, and blemishes be in them. They shall not be accepted for you.
See what I'm saying? So, even from a stranger's hand, you can't give your gift. So maybe you live too far away from Jerusalem because you can't sacrifice it in the backyard. You can't get there. You cannot send it by the hand of a stranger to give it to the priest. Right? It says their iniquity is with them. Right? Because this doesn't mean white people or Gentiles. We talking about people that's not part of the covenant. Right? Because remember, a mixed multitude came out with Israel. Right? Can't give it to a stranger because they don't understand. They don't even know what's going on. Right? Now, lastly, the Passover. In 1 Corinthians chapter 5, it says Jesus is our Passover. So since Jesus is our Passover, the bread and wine, I want to go read one of the statutes of the Passover. Right? Exodus chapter 12, because I know all of the New Testament Christians all keep the Passover, because the New Testament tells us that we need to keep the Passover. So I'm going to flip over to Exodus chapter 12. Exodus 12 and 43. Let's get the statute of the Passover, bread and wine, because Jesus is our Passover, so of course we want to do this. Come on with it, bruh.
And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron,
what'd he say?
This is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof.
Turn down. No stranger shall eat thereof. What else?
But every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof.
So every man's servant bought with money, that's supposed to be reflective, representative of baptism, being born with the blood, purchased with the blood of Jesus. Right? After you purchase with the blood of Jesus and then you circumcise, then you can deal with the Passover. Before that, no stranger. Right? Come on with it. Finish that.
A foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof.
A foreigner and a hired servant also shall not eat thereof. Right? Keep it separate. If we don't know you like that, separate. Right? And this is just my plea. I'm just a voice crying in the wilderness, trying to let you know that you are not a citizen. You are not normal. You are not a sojourner. Right? You are a stranger. Pilgrim even. Right? So, on that note, study the Bible, not the sermon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. Even your negative comments, I ain't tripping on it. And be on the lookout for Strangers Part 2. Strangers in the Priesthood. Locksmith. Knowledge is the key. 1.